Hey, hey. Happy Monday. Early Monday morning. It's the golden time of day for me. It's raining, it's quiet, it's cool, it's perfect, perfect, perfect. Perfect for me to have a nice conversation with y'all. So let me hop right into it. A lot of times as females, we are, we may be dealing with a man and, he may or may not be our old man, even if he is our boyfriend. And then we have friends who are single, right? So soon as we get a man sometimes, it's like we start moving weird with our friends, right? The same girls that you was talking to every day, all the time, now all of a sudden you moving weird with her, right? It's the same girl who was listening to all your complaints about your last man, basically rocking you to sleep, hearing the whole story over and over again about what happened. And as soon as you start dating a new dude, it's like now you moving funny with her, right? And for example, I have one particular friend that I always know when her old man is back in the picture. Why? Because I don't hear from him. Now, when they going through and it's trouble in paradise, I'm gonna hear from her every day, around the clock. Soon as buddy start back coming around and they done made up, now I don't hear from them. So now to just I've known to just understand that okay, they're back together, right? So I just want to talk about that. Like it's a lot of weird things that we do as females, and it's just like you ain't gonna make me think that. Well, I don't know. I don't. These days and time, guys are built way different than they was, in the '90s. So they probably doing the same thing. Who knows? But anyways, I could just come at it from a female point of view. We do weird things like we'll be on the phone with our homegirl. Then soon as the dude come, we gotta get off the phone. Or whenever we may be chilling with him or whatever, our homegirls call, we can't answer the phone. Like weird stuff as if you don't have a life outside of this man. Like, I'm all for giving babe whatever time he needs or whatever time he requires. But when it at the expense of your friend, I ain't talking about a girl who you just, that's your homegirl, y'all party sometime. I'm talking about the girl that you go to when you need some money. I'm talking about the person who is there for you when your people dying and stuff like that. When you churn, giving you problems, that's the person that you call. But then as soon as this man is in the picture, you moving funny. Like that's always been so weird to me because I've seen this happen over and over again. So I try my hardest to not do that. If I'm around a guy and my homegirl call, that's not a problem. Like it's okay to have friends. Like you should have somebody else that you're talking to other than him. You don't have a relationship with nobody but him. Like that's weird. And like, what makes us think that that's what we should? That's how that should be. And if you are dealing with a guy that he only want to be your best friend and he don't want you talking to none of the girls that you like, that's a red, man. Listen, that's a black flag. That ain't even a red flag. That's a black flag. Like, yeah, like you should have a whole life going on. You should have friends. You should have hobbies. You should have situations going on, even if for nothing other than conversation pieces. Like, if you don't have no friends and you don't have nothing going on, what do you and him talk about? Just his stuff? Just his friends? Just what he got going on? Boy, that's one-sided. So, I don't know where as women we got the concept that that's how this is supposed to be. Like we're not supposed to have another life outside of the guy that we're dating. And sometimes as women, we know that the guy that we're dating, we know that he's a little bit jealous or that, he doesn't like our friends, etc., so forth. Okay, cool. So guess what? If that's the case, then you have to figure out how to maneuver that. That don't mean you just start moving funny with your homegirl, because that's the same homegirl that's gonna be there for you whenever he slide. Period, point blank. When he slide, because obviously he's insecure and there's a whole bunch of foolishness going on anyways if you can't have a friend. And at the point where, you see that he's apprehensive about her, then it seems to me that you would say, hey, listen, that's my friend. Like, that ain't just a person that I go out with. Like, she's been there for me when I needed somebody. She's a great listener. Whatever I need, if she can help me, she does that. Like, it seemed like that should be a simple conversation, right? So therefore, the next time she call you, it's not no problem for you to pick up the phone and say, hey, sis, what's happening? You good? All right, well, let me hit you back. Like, say something, right? But I don't get us sometimes, like we be so desperate for a relationship that we get in one and then don't even know how to move when you get in it. It's just like you shut everything and everybody out. Maybe that's why you ain't had one. Because you don't know how to move with one. Like, that's so weird to me. Like, I never understood when, females did that, but like they do it and then they do it all the time. So it's like my homegirls who don't do that, like, I have so much respect for y'all when you understand the concept that you have a life outside of this relationship. Because a lot of times in relationships, girls don't talk to their man about they female problems, or just certain things you just not comfortable with talking to him about. But then the people who you are comfortable talking to, about those innermost things, you move funny with them on account of him. So like, yeah, that's weird. And like, we have to stop that. Like, we have to stop making people our end all, our whole total being. And what I find the most interesting with that is that the females who do that the most, they're not even the ones who married. They ain't even married and they doing that. So imagine you get married, what you gonna do? So yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to speak on that briefly just because I find it so weird, and I just want to like say, y'all, stop doing that. Like, that's weird. Stop doing that. Like, you should have a life. You should have friends. You should have, something going on outside of just what you and him have going on, right? And if you are antisocial and you don't want to have, anything going on but him, then you're entitled to do that. But where the problem comes in at is when you do have other relationships going on, and then soon as you and this man get back together or get together, then you start playing like you didn't have nothing going on and pushing people to the side or acting like, oh, they didn't exist, or downplaying the type of relationship you have. So that's where the weirdness comes in. If you want to be 100% into a situation, that's up to you. My gripe is when you mistreat people who really been there for you, just trying to spare his feelings. That's my gripe. So let's do better with that, ladies. Y'all have a good night.